What's up, gamers? Shout out old boy in the comments that said I'm way too laid back in my videos. It's not my fault. My vibe is frustrating you. It's not my fault. Some of you, unfortunately, not everyone, but there's some people out there that they're just used to YouTubers yelling at them and telling them to subscribe. Guess what, buddy? I'm sipping mocha. You're mad because I'm not amplified? You're mad that I'm chill? Well, guess what? Watch someone that yells at you, buddy. All right, enough of that. It's a pretty chill morning. I'm up. I'm ready to go. And I've gotten a few requests to post my Modern Warfare 2 settings, so we're going to get into it. I'm going to run through all of my settings, or at least everything that I can remember that's useful and that people can use as a reference. If you copy my settings and something's not working, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to show you what I have on my Steam Deck. I'm going to show you what settings I use to play the game. I have plenty of videos showcasing my games and showing that they run pretty well, and I see a lot of people telling me that their game runs like dog water, so I'm gonna show you guys what I have going on. Things still connected? All right, we good. I almost knocked something down back there. Anyways, I'm gonna pretty much give you guys a rundown. I'm gonna run through my Windows settings as far as like power, balance, performance, all that stuff in Windows. I am running on Windows 11. I don't even know what version. It's Windows 11 Pro, but I'm gonna go ahead and go to about this PC and all of that information, because I see some of you asking specifically for Windows settings, and I'll also show my in-game settings, and we'll go from there. Hopefully this helps out. Disclaimer, this may not help your crashing problem. I crashed a magnitude of times already, but it's more of the game's fault than the Steam Deck's fault. It's crashing everywhere. They said they were going to roll out an update today for crashes related to parties, and I hope that works, because we couldn't get a stable party with more than 3 people unless we did some absolute nonsense in order to play. So hopefully that gets fixed, and just know the game's crashing in general. It has nothing really to do with your Steam Deck. I mean, it can at times, or with your PC or whatever it is you're playing on, but for the most part these settings will help your performance when you're actually playing the game. And I can't really talk about the crashing issue or how it affects that. This will, however, provide an explanation to why my game looks the way it does. It runs pretty smooth, and the gameplay speaks for itself. So you guys asked for it, now let's hop in. I'm gonna go ahead and start by showing you guys my BIOS settings. To get into BIOS, you're gonna wanna hold your volume up and power button, and then it'll power up, and it'll take us to this screen right here. Once this menu pops up, you're gonna wanna go to Setup Utility, and this is basically where all of the BIOS settings are. I'm trying to make this as legible as possible, so I have turned off the ring light, and I'm trying to get it to focus on the words. If you have to pause in order to read this, go ahead. I will scroll down through these main settings here, but the change you're going to want to really worry about is in advanced settings. So the main setting here is going to be UMA frame buffer size, and by default your Steam Deck is set to 2, I believe, and you're going to want to crank that up to 4. You can see right here that mine is set to 4, and what that does is it makes your maximum VRAM, or your system memory, higher. That way when you're adding more settings and things like that, you have more freedom to do that. So it's basically the amount of shared system memory goes up, and that's going to be pretty much the main setting you're going to want to change in BIOS. I don't think there's anything else that you really should worry about here. Power, don't know. Let's see. Power control is set to auto. I will leave this screen up too. Let it focus real quick. These are my advanced settings. Main thing here though, like I said, is going to be that UMA buffer size. Pretty much it for BIOS. We can go ahead and exit, and I'm going to go ahead and boot into Windows now. You guys can't see this. This is sacred right here. We're in my desktop, and from here on out I'm going to go ahead and screen record my Windows settings and also the in-game settings that I have set up. I really only needed to record the other part for BIOS with the camera and without a screen recorder, because I don't even know if it lets me screen record with the Elgato when I'm in those menus. So here we go. Since we're talking Modern Warfare 2 today, I went ahead and changed my background and wallpaper engine. I don't usually run wallpaper engine while running games, and I don't recommend it, especially if it's a moving background like this. I just do it for fun, just to give you guys something to look at while we're on my desktop. But you can run wallpaper engine. You can just use this as you would on a normal PC. But yeah, just thought you guys should know in case anyone's like, well, how do you have a moving background? How do you do that? Well, that's how I did it. I'm going to pull up settings and bring up anything significant that I think is helping me run my games better. Hopefully I can cover any questions or anything that is actually useful. If I miss anything, feel free to ask questions. First thing I'm going to do, since we are looking at my extended desktop, I'm going to just mirror my Steam Deck screen. That way you guys can see exactly what the Steam Deck is seeing, or exactly what's on the Steam Deck screen, rather than an extended display that might have some altered settings like frame rate and things like that, because I am playing on a 165 hertz monitor, and you could crank up the hertz to 120 on your extended display with the Steam Deck. And I don't want you guys to get confused. I want you to see exactly what's on the Steam Deck screen and what you're going to be seeing if you're playing in handheld mode. So if I right click here, I can go to my display settings. It just pulled up display settings on the Steam Deck screen. I'm going to pull it up here. You can see that I'm extending the display, and I only do this if I'm playing on my actual monitor, and if I'm streaming and things like that, you usually see me extend the display. But I'm going to go ahead and duplicate screen 1, and it's going to just show you exactly what's on my Steam Deck screen. You can see it cut off the edges because the Steam Deck resolution is different from the resolution on my actual monitor. Since I was already on the topic, I'm going to go ahead and start with display. I am in system, display. If you can't find this screen, just type display in your settings and it'll pop up. When you're in this screen right here, let's see here what I got going on. There's not much to really look at here. You can see that it's mirroring my screen. We can see that the scale is set to 125. I do this so that I can have bigger icons when playing in handheld mode, and I could touch the screen a little bit easier. The icons do turn a bit smaller when you're playing at 100 or using your Steam Deck at 100%. So 125% is what I have. Display orientation, landscape, advanced display is going to be where you see my resolution. My refresh rate is set to 60. This option can't be changed, I think, and I have never changed it. You can change it, however, if you are extending your display. You have control over the other display and can change it to higher hertz. That's all for display. I don't think this has anything important in it, so let's exit that out and let's go ahead and head to gaming. The main thing here is going to be game mode. I have that set to on. Optimize your PC to play by turning things off in the background. It basically just turns off the apps in background and only focuses on the game that is open. Those are pretty much my display settings, and game mode was set to on. Now moving on to Windows specifications, and to get to this screen right here, I went to about this PC or about your PC. You can type that into the settings bar and you can find this screen right here. And I have Windows 11 Pro version 21H2. Now I know there's an update to get version 22. I have not updated to that version. I haven't really felt the need to, and I don't want to run into any issues. The only way I'm updating right now is if I absolutely need to, if a program is asking me to. But as of right now, my Steam Deck is running pretty darn good, so I'm just going to leave it at 21H2 unless it auto updates, or unless I have to update it to 22, I will. I know people were having issues with audio drivers with 22, so I haven't really messed with the Windows update. I'm mentioning this because I don't know if the version is going to make or break your game, but I want to emphasize what version I'm on when showing how my game is playing. That way you guys know exactly what version I'm running. Installed on April 24th. That's pretty much the version I have. The next setting I'm going to go to is battery, or what is it called? Power plan, should I say? Power plan. I feel like this is pretty important. It's not edit that I'm going to show, it's choose a power plan, and you will see that there's balance, which I feel like most people are on, and then I have once upon a time installed Razer Cortex power plan, or Razer Cortex the program. I don't even know if I have the actual program open ever when I'm actually running games. I don't use the program. You can download it to get the power plan, I guess, but I don't change anything on here. I just have it set to Razer Cortex instead of balanced. And I'm going to mention this right here because I've seen a lot of comments of people asking about power plan or asking what's recommended. They're saying balance is recommended, but I had no issues so far running Razer Cortex power plan, and it's what I'm using to run my game. Once again, this is what you're looking at when I'm playing my games. It also says it activates when boost is toggled on if selected in Razer Cortex. I don't activate boost when starting up my games. Basically, boost will give you like a boost bar right here, and it'll close all of the background apps, but in game mode it did say I was closing background apps, so I don't know if this combined with that is helping it, but I'm just showing you so that you know that that's what I'm running. I'm gonna head back to the gaming tab, and I did show you guys that game mode is turned on, but in here is also, I kind of just went past this, it's pretty important, related settings, graphics. In graphics, this basically shows you what setting for performance your game is set to. And you can see here Black Ops 3 high performance, Black Ops 2 high performance. All of my games are pretty much high performance. I don't actually have Modern Warfare 2 added to this tab by default. It's not in here. I haven't touched anything in here, but we can go ahead and add it just to see what it's set to, or to set it ourselves. If you don't know where your game is stored, you can head over to Steam, go to your library where the game is at, and then go to the game page, hit manage, properties. We're gonna head over to local files and browse. In here, it'll tell you the exact path of where your game is stored, and you could copy this. It might be different for you depending on where you have it, but you can copy this and head back over to the settings, browse, and as you can see, it's already in there, but you can triple click this or whatever, click it until it shows you the bar. Oops, I'm going crazy right now. Let's go ahead and delete that, paste it. It's literally going to take us to that same path that's in the Steam settings, and in here you can find the exe file of the game, and I believe the actual game file is this one right here. So we're gonna go ahead and add that. I'm assuming that's it, because there's not really any other one that says Modern Warfare 2 or anything like that. It just says COD.exe and has the picture of the Modern Warfare 2 logo, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that. And it's added in the graphics tab now, and you can see that it's letting Windows decide. I haven't touched this setting, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is, but you do have the option to set it to high performance on your own. That's pretty much it for graphics, and if you didn't know this for whatever reason, now you know. You can use this to play other games or set performance or power saving options for other games. But I just did this to show you that mine wasn't added, but you can add it if you want to. So we covered display, covered graphics, game mode, and power plan. Now I'm going to go ahead and search for something else that might be useful. Let's see what shows up for battery. Power and battery. Let's see what I got going on here. Power mode can't be set while the high performance power plan is used. And it looks like I am on the high performance plan. I know it did say I was using Razer Cortex. I'm assuming the other option, if you don't have Razer Cortex installed, is high performance. So right now it is saying that I'm using a high performance plan. If you have it set to balanced, I'm assuming you could do power mode. Optimize your Optimize your device based on power use and performance. Okay, so can't do anything there. Doesn't even let me click anything there. So we're just gonna leave that as it is. Battery usage. Okay, it tells you all this stuff. So I haven't really done anything here. This is going to be based off of what power plan you're using, and we saw that my power plan was the Razer Cortex one. The other option would be balanced, but as you guys saw, I am on the Razer Cortex power plan. I wonder if I didn't have Razer Cortex, if it would just show high performance as an option. I'm assuming that's what it shows, but for me, it's showing Razer Cortex because I had Razer Cortex installed. Performance. Do we see anything for performance? Turn on game mode settings. Adjust the appearance and performance. Let Windows choose what's best for my computer. So in the graphics tab, you saw that it's letting Windows decide, and it set those actual games that I like to play in high performance to high performance. So I have never actually changed this. It's doing pretty good so far. It's setting the games to high performance, but you can also just choose this yourself. And it looks like you have the option to adjust for best performance by default. So if you want to just make sure you're on best performance, you can choose this, but I have mine set to let Windows decide. So that was quite a bit here. I think we covered a lot of the important stuff. The taskbar. There should be a thing called taskbar behaviors. Taskbar behaviors. Show my taskbar on all displays. Automatically hide the taskbar. I don't have this on. When you turn this on, the taskbar only shows up when you go down here. Adding movement to the screen is probably just not a good thing. I'm trying to think. I think that covers the majority of the most important Windows settings that I have set. Next, I would like to show, just in case anyone's curious, the AMD drivers and what I currently have. And you can find this if you don't know what you're on. If you have the AMD drivers already installed, you can just type in AMD in your search bar here, and we can go to the installer and see what current version of the Adrenaline drivers I'm using. So AMD software Adrenaline Edition driver installer. It's going to open this installer. I'm not actually going to install anything, but I am on version 21.50.02.03. I'm just going to leave this like this for now. If I do end up updating this in the future or anything, I will probably cover that in a later video, but for right now, this is the current version I'm on. Remember, this is me trying to show you what I have set up right now. I'm not trying to update anything. I'm not trying to show you guys how to do anything or how to fix your game or what's going on. I'm literally showing you what I have because you guys asked, or some of you asked, what my settings were in Windows, what my settings were in game, what I have everything set to, so I am showing that. This is not a tutorial. If you want to match my settings, you can. I don't know if you're going to be able to. I don't know if you're going to be able to download older versions of things. I am just showing you this so you are aware of what I am using to run my games. Let's see, I covered BIOS, I covered Windows, showed you my AMD drivers. Next, I think we can open up the game and show the in-game settings that I currently have. And these will probably cater more to handheld mode than to docked mode. You can play with these settings on docked mode. When I'm playing on docked mode, I'm playing on a 24-inch monitor, and I don't change much of anything when I'm switching between docked and handheld mode, but you can tweak this if you want to. I just haven't really done anything when playing in docked mode. I just let it sit. When I'm switching between, I don't mess with settings. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play, and we're gonna go into the game settings. In-game settings. I'm gonna try to get through this as quickly and as simplified as possible. Aside from all of the window settings and everything I just showed, these are my settings, and this is what I was using when I played on my last video. If you saw the last video and you liked that gameplay, you liked how the game looked and ran, these are the settings I was using in that video and that I will continue to use moving forward. I'm going to use this moment as a disclaimer. I'm not saying these are ultimately the best settings or the best looking or the best performing. I am just saying that if you liked how the previous video looked, how the gameplay looked, then these are the settings I was using in that video. Let's head over to graphics. And I'm going to go through this. I'm not going to change anything. I'm literally just going to show and talk about what settings I have on right now. So first up, display mode, full screen borderless. I do not have anything else set to this. I have never had anything else set to this. It's up to you if you want to change anything, but this is what I have. Display monitor, this is the Steam Deck screen. Same thing with this, Steam Deck setting, there's no other option. Refresh rate is locked at 60 based on full screen borderless. Display resolution 1280 by 800, that's the Steam Deck screen's resolution. Dynamic resolution, there's nothing going on here. Oops, it was off, so we're going to leave it off. Aspect ratio automatic. Alright, so VSync, I have this set to on. You can have this on or off, it's up to you. I saw that at some points I was going past 60 FPS in game, and there's no real need to go past 60 FPS when the Steam Deck screen only goes to 60 FPS. So I have that set to on just so I can have a more consistent experience, but it's up to you whether you want it on or off. But I just have mine set to on. Normally on PC, I have this turned off and I just let the frames go because my monitor actually does go higher than 60 FPS. So I also think this prevents screen tearing. Matches the Steam Deck's refresh rate, which is 60, so I just left it at that. The system doesn't need to overwork itself if it can't support anything higher than 60 frames. That's what I'm trying to get at. Alright, so let's scroll down here. Custom frame rate. Let's see here. You can set this to whatever you want. You could even set this to 30 or 40 if you guys want to. I know some people like to play their Steam Deck games, especially if they're not charging it. They want to play it at lower frames. You can go ahead and do that. But most of the time I am plugged in. I do play for the videos and stuff like that, so I'm mostly plugged in when I'm streaming and things like that. So yeah, the reason I was going past 60 frames is because this is set to 250 for whatever reason. I'd never touched it, so I guess that's what it's set to. But if you want VSync off and to limit your frame rate, you can just put this down to 60. I'll just do that actually, since I actually never mess with this. Let's see here. Menu, custom frame rate 120. Out of focus, custom frame rate 30. I feel like that's important. Like things that are probably off in the distance, maybe 30. I wonder if turning that up to 60 will do anything or if it'll mess with the performance. I'm just going to leave it as it is because that's what I had in the previous video. We're basing all of these settings off of the previous video because this is what I had on, except for that change I just made, which wasn't really a change because I have VSync on, so I don't think this is really going to affect anything. But this is interesting. I wonder if turning this to 60 will give you a more solid or coherent experience. I'm looking for big words here. Let's move on. Shader optimization. Make sure your shaders are installed when you're playing this game. They should install automatically, and you could restart them right here. If you don't know if they're on or off, then just go here and restart them. You will need the shaders to play the game. Display gamma 2.4. Let's see here. That's pretty much it for the display tab in the game. We're going to head over to quality now. This is the more important stuff. The low settings, the normals, the highs, whatever. And I pretty much just did one thing on here. I reset to recommended, and then it asks you if you want to favor performance or if you want to favor quality, and I set mine to performance. So render resolution. The interesting thing here is that the render resolution is going to be very low. So the Steam Deck screen is 800p, 1280 by 800p, but what FSR does, which is the next thing we're going to talk about, is it sets your game to a lower frame rate while upscaling it to make it look nicer than what it is while still running, while still having good performance. So I have mine set to AMD FSR 1.0, which is basically AMD's version of DLSS. That's a great setting to turn on. This will make or break the experience, I think, unless you'd really go into depth with other settings and then tweak this here. But I feel like if you want a curated experience that's based on performance for higher frames, you're going to want to turn on AMD FSR and let it do its thing. Anti-aliasing, Filmic SMAA T2X, anti-aliasing quality low, video memory scale 85, texture resolution normal, everything else low, short, low, and you can just see this if you would like to. You could pause it here and look at it. But most of this is preset based on FSR and performance, so I didn't really touch anything here. But if you're interested in knowing what's on here, I will just show it and scroll. A lot of low settings, a lot of performance based settings. If you're looking for a nicer experience, you can get that. You might get some frame dips here and there. I just rather play on low. When I'm playing on the handheld mode with low settings, it's not that bothersome. Low does not bother me at all. It's gonna bother you if you're playing on docked with a bunch of low settings, but on handheld mode, the resolution is so small and the screen is so small that it still looks good even on low settings. Pretty much it for the quality tab, which is pretty important, but this is what I had set up. Next, we're gonna head to view, and I have my field of view set to 100. The default is not 100. It's a little bit less. I think it's 80 or something. I don't feel like I need the full maximum 120 when I'm playing on the Steam Deck screen. 100 is pretty good. I can still see pretty close up, but not so close up that I feel like I'm running slow. At 100, I feel like it's a good balance, because if you turn it all the way up, you can see more, but also the enemies appear further, and it's a smaller screen, so I don't think it really helps. ADS field of view affected, weapon field of view default, third person view 80. I'll probably crank this up when I play third person mode. Field of view default for vehicles, and then this is pretty much what I have set for the view tab. If you look down here, it shows you the VRAM usage, and remember that in BIOS I turned this up, so the maximum is way further away than it would normally be, and even then I'm not using much of the VRAM, which is great. This game is doing its thing, running pretty well performance wise, and not taking up a bunch of VRAM. If you turn up things to ultra or epic or whatever the higher settings are, and expect your VRAM usage to go up and your performance to go down. I believe that is it for graphic settings. Now I will show you guys my controller settings. Right now it's on mouse and keyboard, but we're gonna set that to controller real quick. And I pretty much play on high 7. As I get used to the game, I usually crank up the sensitivity. When I got it, the default was like 4, and I played a few matches on it, and I was used to it because that's what it was set to, and I never messed with it. But as I played, it felt slower, and then I just kept increasing and getting used to the higher sensitivity. Here we go, aim down sights, blah, 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 all of this you can pause and look at. Vertical aim access, standard sensitivity, I was about to say multiplier. This is what I have. And these are all just kind of personalized settings to however you play. I haven't really messed with it. I just set my sensitivity to 7 and got used to it. Advanced. Aim assist is on. I don't know. If you're weird, you would turn this off on the Steam Deck. You kind of really need it, especially when you're playing on the Steam Deck with the sticks and getting used to the sticks and how it feels in hand. So aim assist type, default. And yeah, I pretty much play on default. I know some people like precision focusing. This is going to be kind of more of a personalized thing to how you like to play. I just play on default. Response curve, standard. There's linear, dynamic. I know some people play on linear as well, so there's that. I might tweak these later on and just try them out, but as of right now, I'm used to the game on these current settings. ADS, transition timing. Interesting. Alright. Dead zones. These are the dead zones I have. I might actually turn these down, but I would have to be in game to mess with this. So if there's another controller specific video to get these dead zones and sensitivities right, I will post that in the future. But right now this is more for my current settings, so I'm just showing you what I have going on for now. Tactical sprint behavior toggle. I will just leave this up for a second. You can look at it. There's even a weapon mount exit delay. Short. I feel like you would want short, no? Like you want to unmount real fast? I think I might have to turn that on. We'll see. I'm not going to touch it for now. Alright, so those were my advanced controller settings as well. On top of that, I will even show you guys. Hit the Steam button on the Steam Deck, and in here you can just go to your controller configuration, and this is my current controller configuration. Gamepad with joystick trackpad. I left everything as default. I am playing the game on tactical, so that means I crouch and slide with R3 or the right stick, but I also have them mapped to the back of the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck has 4 back buttons. I am currently using 2 of those back buttons in Call of Duty. Haven't really found a use for the other 2. I might put like a field upgrader or something back there, but if you want to remap these buttons, this is where you go. And I have my right stick. Right stick is the back left button. And then on the right side I have the jump button. So basically sliding and jumping I have to the back of the Steam Deck. That way my hands are always on the sticks and I can slide and jump without letting go of the sticks. A button, I will show this too. You can remap it here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the actual system button remapping and button layout. You could use the trackpads for aiming. I don't play that way. I also don't use gyro. I know a lot of people are asking, does gyro work? Does gyro supported? I don't have any current gyro settings that I can share, and I don't aim with the trackpads. I just don't find it useful. I am used to playing on a controller. I'm used to playing on the sticks, and I like how it plays with the sticks and the buttons mapped to the back. That's pretty much all I did. So you can also browse configurations here. Let's see if the community has made anything. So yeah, we got gamepad with back buttons, gamepad with back buttons. I guess these are ones that people have made already. 360 controller. You could also make your own template and share it. Mine is pretty much just probably one of those back buttons ones that someone already shared. So that's pretty much it for the controller configuration. So let's get out of this screen. And remember, you can access this by pressing the Steam button on your controller while you're playing the game. It's just going to overlay it. And it's nice that on Windows the Steam button actually does work. When Steam is open and you hit that Steam button, it's going to pull up this overlay menu, which is very nice. I'm going to switch this back to KBM. Let me turn on a frame counter real quick. Interface, telemetry, where are you? Show more. FPS counter. That's all we're going to turn on. Really, I don't like having all that stuff up on my screen at all times, but I'll take the FPS counter. So I went ahead and loaded into a match. Whatever I'm seeing on the monitor right now is just being mirrored from the Steam Deck screen. It's what you would see on the handheld mode if you were playing on it. I even give you guys a little Steam Deck cam down there so you can see exactly what I'm seeing and what it would look like if you're playing in handheld mode. I just wanted to show the gameplay up here as well so you can see the FPS. So it's counting the FPS up there. We're at solid 60 frames, and normally I would not play docked mode in mirrored mode, so this is just so that you can see that it's running from the actual Steam Deck. Mainly catered towards handheld mode. I do not recommend using mirrored mode on Windows or mirroring the Steam Deck screen to play in docked mode. Just extend your display and choose your actual monitor when playing in docked mode, because that way you don't get the blurriness of whatever the Steam Deck is showing right now. Since we're playing on a 1080p monitor and the game is being displayed at 800p, it is going to result in a blurry image if you don't actually extend your display and choose your monitor. There's a benchmark mode in this game, and I didn't want to make this video extremely long, even though I probably already did. I will save the benchmark mode for another video of its own. Bro, where is the people? I'm also just running like a chicken with my head cut off because I'm not really paying attention to the game. I'm more thinking about what I'm saying. Oh, that's a friendly. But there we go. Okay, now I want one more. See? Can't be. Okay, I'm not getting one more. We're leaving the game. Rage quit. If that wasn't enough gameplay, check out the video before this video. It has my first 2 matches in handheld mode with all of the current settings I just showed. If you like that and you want to take the settings and run with them, go ahead. I might have missed something. I don't know. So if I miss something, just ask and I'll look into it and get back to you in the comments. I do reply to comments. I do like to see what other people have as their settings too, if there's any recommendations, because I too am learning and taking whatever is useful and implementing that into my games. So it's always good to know more and to have different perspectives on what works and what doesn't work. Maybe there's someone out there with really good ultra settings if I just want my game to look good. So I don't know, share your settings, ask questions. I am open to just talking about settings or the game. This wasn't meant to be a gameplay showcase. If you would like to watch gameplay, watch the video before this. I will put a card somewhere in this video as well. At the end of the video, you can watch a more extended gameplay that actually shows me running around and playing the game in handheld mode. This was mainly for settings. I wanted to focus this whole video on the settings and what exactly I'm doing to get my game to run the way it does. Once again, thank you everyone for watching all of the other videos. If you're new and you want to see other gameplays or an extended gameplay, I have those on the channel. And like always, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.
Pouring a red, cause it's good for my nutrition. Got me feeling dead, so I'm toying on a Smith thing. I been in my bag, dropping hits, I ain't missing. Whipping the Hellcat, hearing hits when I'm